Hey, eighth graders. Mr. Merck is on YouTube. How about that? I'm in the process of figuring out how to do this, so you're going to have to bear with me as we work through it. But the objective of these videos is to work you through the eighth grade history practice and review, and hopefully you'll recognize a familiar face, and we can try to feel a little bit normal in this process as we work through the next couple weeks, sort of learning from afar. So if you don't already have them, get out your eighth grade practice and review packet, and we're going to look over the first couple pages together. And hopefully we can work through this and check your answers at the worst case scenario if you haven't looked at it yet. So on part two, Declaration of Independence and the Seneca Falls Declaration Sentiments, 1848. We'll talk about the questions that follow, but the Declaration of Independence, obviously, when it was written back in 1776, stated that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Obviously, what is missing there in your first question there is women. It just says all men. So when we answer the question, when the Declaration of Independence was written in 1776, who was considered to be created equal? And that answer is right here. All men are created equal. Obviously, they were not talking about, or at least they were not mentioned, women were not mentioned in 1776, and that was they tried to correct that at Seneca Falls in Rochester when Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Lucretia Mott and Susan B. Anthony all met to talk about trying to right some of those wrongs that were created in that original document, the Declaration of Independence. So question number two, state one way the ideas found in the Seneca Falls Declaration of Sentiments are different than the ideas found in the Declaration of Independence. Would be right here. Now take a look. We have that all men, and they added women. Women are created equal. That's your easy answer. So for your second question, you should write down that all men and women states women are equal to men. That was something that definitely women theorized or believed was missing from that original Declaration of Independence. And your third question, why was the Seneca Falls Declaration of Sentiments based on the ideas found in the Declaration of Independence? Well, hopefully you thought about the Declaration of Independence and how important that document was. That document established the basis of American freedom, and I would write that in some form or fashion to show that women were left out of that important document, and also state that the Declaration of Independence was the basis for American freedom, and that's why the Seneca Falls Declaration of Sentiments based their ideas off of that. And that should finish that first page. Now going down to the second page, do you remember we talked about the Civil War? That's where we began this year, talking about the Civil War. You see a picture here. Remember, we always look at everything in the picture. We read words that are on the picture. Obviously, this tree here is labeled with slavery. You have this person with a beard. Who do we know that had a beard during the time of slavery? His name was Abraham Lincoln. It even says Lincoln's last warning on here. Now, if you don't come down, I'll cut the tree from under you. And you see this person hiding up in the tree representing slavery. So one would start to assume that he might be talking about the southern states. And then you find out in the first question, or actually the second question, they mentioned Jefferson Davis. Jefferson Davis being up in the tree. Well, Jefferson Davis, this guy right here, was the president of the Confederacy once the war started. But let's take a look at the first question. What does the tree represent in the cartoon? Once again, it's spelled right out. It represents slavery. That's an easy answer. What two sections of the United States are represented by Abraham Lincoln and Jefferson Davis in the cartoon? Well, Abraham Lincoln would represent, what do you guys think? That's right. He represents the North, the northern states, or the free states. This is Abraham Lincoln right here. And then, of course, Jefferson Davis, the guy up in the tree, would represent your southern states, or the slave states is what I would write. Then finally, what major conflict in the United States history was occurring when this cartoon was drawn? This cartoon was drawn right here by Frank Bello, Harper's Weekly, October 11th, 1862. And you know that the Civil War was happening at that time. The Civil War, in which brothers fought, fathers fought, sons, Americans fought. Americans are most, probably the worst war we were involved in American history, because Americans were fighting just that. We're fighting Americans. Let's do one more page. Why not? We're here. And the next one talks about the Civil War as well. Base your answers to questions 4 through 6 on the poster below in your knowledge of social studies. A call for volunteers during the Civil War. Rensselaer County Regiment of Volunteers, Regimental Headquarters, 69 First Street, Troy, New York. Colonel W.T. Willard. Preserve the Union, protect the Constitution. First question, according to the poster, in which city were the volunteers asked to report for duty? All right, that is right here. What city is it? It is Troy, New York. Troy, New York is just outside of Albany. Actually, my son Lucas lived in Troy, New York for a period of time, but they were requiring or requesting volunteers, not drafting anybody yet. They were looking for volunteers at this time. Based on this poster, state one cause that volunteers were asked to fight for. There's actually 2 causes on here. They're right here. They were to preserve the Union and to protect the Constitution. You could write either one of those. Preserve the Union, protect the Constitution. And finally, the last question. In addition to the 2 stated wartime goals of this poster, what became another wartime goal of the North as the Civil War continued? Think hard about that. What other thing did Northerners fight for or try to end? And hopefully it pops in your head. That is correct as well. The answer would be slavery. Yeah, they fought to end slavery. In January 1st, 1863, Abraham Lincoln issues the Emancipation Proclamation, which freed all the slaves in the Confederate States, or the states still under Confederate control. That became a goal of the North, or of the Union, which was to free the slaves. There was a couple different reasons that Abraham Lincoln did that. One, he was hoping to prevent Great Britain and other European nations from helping the South, and he knew he had made the war about slavery, that it was less likely that European nations would help the Southerners keep slavery, considering European nations did not have slaves anymore at this time. And another reason or motivation behind that goal was to actually get the support of free blacks in the North. And actually 180,000 free blacks volunteered to fight for the Union after the Emancipation Proclamation, because now it wasn't just a war to preserve the Union, but it became a war for their freedom. And even Abraham Lincoln credited those 180,000 men with helping turn the tide of war in favor of the Union. So that gets us through the first 3 pages. I'm going to hopefully make a video every couple days if I can master this technique of distance learning with you guys. I really wish I could see you face to face in the classroom, but this is going to have to do for now. Please feel free to email me with any questions, or just say, hey, what's up? Or say, hey, Mr. Merck, that was a fantastic video. Please keep them coming, and I'll do the best I can to really do a better job. I'm kind of new at this YouTubing thing, but we'll see how it works, and hopefully I can speak clear, and I can draw a little bit better on the page and different things like that, and we'll get to a point where I can do some instruction this way. Don't worry about those DPQs yet, because I'll do some videos on those DBQs, but hopefully, I'll tell you what, if you haven't done it already, try to get through the next 3 pages. And the next video I'll do, we'll go through the next 3 pages, and then you can just check your answers to see, hey, you're right on task, or you're right on ball, and you knew this stuff. And then you can make corrections if you didn't, but we'll figure out from there. Hi to everybody out there. Stay healthy, and we'll talk to you soon. This is Mr. Merck signing off.